Disclaimer. The following may contain depictions of violence or graphic senses. Viewer discretion is advised. Naeun quickly realized that the terrifying creature standing before them was undoubtedly a villain. Its monstrous appearance sent chills down her spine, but she knew she had to think fast. As she pondered their next move, a memory of her brother surfaced in her mind. He had given her a small, pager-like device, a sort of emergency button. He had warned her not to use it for pranks, stressing that it was only for real emergencies. If she pressed it, he would come to her rescue, no matter what. With her heart racing, Naeun discreetly hid her hand behind her back and pressed the button. She silently prayed that her brother wouldn't dismiss the signal as a joke and would rush to them immediately. Time was running out. The villain, embodying every evil trope from the movies, began to speak ominously. He described how he would crucify his victims, promising to send them to an eternal void where they would hover in endless oblivion. Fear surged through Naeun, but she refused to let it paralyze her. She defiantly showed the villain her middle finger. "Why don't you send yourself to that eternity if you love it so much, instead of forcing it on the rest of us?" she challenged, her voice shaking but strong. He mentions how she has guts. Naeun knows she has to do whatever she can to buy time for her brother to arrive, asking the villain why he is doing what he is doing. The villain looks dumbfounded, continuing to say how an odd question mentions if there needs to be a reason for liking something. Naeun thinks to herself that the guy is a fricking creep ass, as his dirty ass licks his fingers with Kool-Aid drenched on them. Calling it a silly question, but he answers it anyway, saying all psychopathically, "The fresh blood I take, and empty body I rip apart. This is my only way of life. Nothing brings him more pleasure in life." As he continues to walk towards them, the villain paused, a sinister smile spreading across his face. He recognized her defiance as a mix of bravery and what he considered foolishness. Desperately, she ordered him to stay put, her voice shaking as she claimed she had already called her brother. She promised that he would soon arrive and kick the villain's ass out of this world. But instead of being intimidated, the villain found this amusing. A cruel smile spread across his face at Naeun's suggestion that he should flee if he was scared. Instead of retreating, the villain began to gather a dark, sinister energy in his hands. He mused aloud, his tone dripping with malice, about how devastated her brother would be when he arrived too late. He imagined the look of horror on her brother's face as he found his little sister pale and lifeless, drained of every drop of blood. The villain's words hung heavy in the air, making Naeun's blood run cold. Without any warning, the villain unleashed dark energy from his hands, sending it shooting through the air at a terrifying speed. The blast was aimed directly at Naeun, but instead of hitting her, she collided with her friend who had been standing just behind her. The impact sent her friend sprawling backward, landing hard on the ground with a painful thud. Chaos erupted as Naeun struggled to regain her balance, while her friend lay on the floor, clearly hurt. Naeun snapped back to reality, her heart pounding as she rushed towards her unconscious friend, desperate to rouse her from her stupor with vigorous shakes. Fear gripped her tightly, each moment feeling like an eternity as she struggled against the impending threat closing in on them. The villain, a sinister figure cloaked in malice, advanced slowly, his hand poised for another vicious strike. His chilling promise to turn Naeun into a macabre gift for her brother echoed in her mind, chilling her to the core. Doubt crept in, shattering her confidence. A sudden sound shattered the tense air, the unmistakable clink of glass. Relief mixed with apprehension flooded Naeun as she heard someone approaching, though it wasn't the savior she had envisioned. Without hesitation, the figure, resembling Cassian in appearance and bearing, launched a swift attack, aiming a shadowy blade, his signature move, the Shadow Slicer, directly at Blood Rain. Blood Rain with swiftness dodges Cassian's shadow. ready to counter but realizes Cassian already jumped toward him. With little time, Bloodrain puts his hand down, catching Cassian by surprise, the hand helping him do a kickstand, sending Cassian flying back, forcing Cassian into a defensive stance. His right arm was throbbing from the hit, worrying him a little. The villain wondered to himself who this was in front of him. And if it was the older brother, why was he a villain? Bloodrain, for some reason, thinks Cassian is a villain. I have no idea why. Naeun herself is also wondering who it is. What's good, guys? My fault for the shitty upload schedule, but I needed to take a break. I kinda got burnt out. I should be able to keep posting this series depending how it does, and might start another recap for another manhwa to read something new for the channel. You know, so it won't be all villain to kill recap. But I do appreciate all the support for this series and the loyal-ass subscribers who still sub to this channel after I haven't posted in a hella long time. I want to say thank you. And stay tuned, my people. Great things to come see y'all in the next. Now for the little recorded bit. If we can get the amount of likes shown here, I will upload next episode as soon as I can. Please leave any feedback on the comments below. So with that, I want to say, thanks for watching. Hoped you enjoyed. See you guys later.